Today we speak about shamanism and children. So we need to say that giving birth in general for a woman is probably the first rite of passage that constitutes an initiation for ourselves, both from the woman point of view and from the child's point of view, because it starts with the beginning of our life circle and cycle as well. And so it has an influence on our own life. So the birth of children is a sacred experience that will have an influence on each year of our life, even if we don't realize it's not that moment only, but how it happens, what was influencing our parents before that, the conditions, how the soul of the children has decided for these human beings for the reincarnation moment. What about the spirits in that moment, the ancestors? So there is a variety of elements that influence that specific time. And also what happened during the moment of birth and in the following months and the following first years will have, of course, an influence on the well-being and the healing process of the child. We can say that the woman that gives birth is the original shaman. So she brings the ancestral spirit being into realm, into the manifested time, while also risking her life herself. And of course, there is no doubt that the most ancient temples were sacred birthplace, and that women, like for example, healers, midwives, women that were taking care of divinations, people that were taking care of the soul of the dying, were gathering in these sacred temples, in these sacred spaces. And women are a bridge between the borderline realms that connect life and death. And of course, in the past times, they were considered wise women, so wise oracles in some cultures that could be contacted to make a connection with the other spirits, to ask for help. Not necessarily for answers, because divination is not foreseeing future, but asking for support and answer for a burning question, for a decision in general. So a woman, when is pregnant, travels into her inner world that represents and reflects the landscape of the shamanic realms. And of course, she needs to meet her fears, her obstacles, and her deep knowing by traveling into this lower world. And when she gives birth, she takes into the middle world, which is the physical reality where we are the child that is coming. And while doing that, she's also connecting the upper world, so the divine, which is supporting the whole process in general. In this specific moment, the woman, of course, needs to be in a process of awareness and consciousness, and finding that there is a profound sense of connection between the moment of pregnancy, the moment of being mother, and the moment, of course, of mothering in itself, so after the birth. the pregnancy and the birth in itself are the transformative events for women. And the perspective of shamanism is that everything is, of course, interconnecting, and healing can happen in this connection while flowing with and tapping with these energies, the wisdom and the knowledge that come through this interconnectedness in these non-material realms. So during pregnancy, a woman is open to these realms and can access in an easier way this wisdom, because she opened herself to a condition that would not be normally achieved when she's not in this state. But of course, it's also a moment of fear. It's a moment where it can happen a very deep process, because there are elements that come from the generation, because through the ancestor line, the born baby will inherit these elements. And so in the pregnancy, these elements are flowing through. They are in a process of transformation, and shamanism is all about transformation, is all about connection. And so in this process, these elements sometimes can be also painful, because there could be images that in the woman's memory or subconscious soul have not been pacified. Things from the lineage of both parents or the woman only represent unsolved situations, represents karmic heaviness that needs to be cleared, that needs to be purified. And we know that the word karma in general means action in Sanskrit. So of course, when there are elements, how the karma works, it would be another open conversation that can be dealt with from a different perspective. But it would be too long to speak about that right now. But of course, the child that is coming into that womb has specifically chosen that womb. So the soul needs that mother, which is absolutely perfect, and that father as well, which is absolutely perfect for the soul's evolutionary state. So even if sometimes condition can be quite hard, and sometimes we don't understand why we have been why our soul has decided to reincarnate in a family instead of another one, is just because in that family there are the perfect conditions for our soul to learn some specific lessons. If you believe in that, I always like saying that at the reincarnation office, we just make an agreement, which is our soul making agreements with some other souls, but specifically what our soul wants to learn, what are the new lessons. And of course, the soul gives itself open opportunity to learn these lessons in all the possible ways, which means that we cannot choose how to learn a lesson. It can be that sometimes we need to learn a lesson through losses, through pain. The majority of time we are deeply bound and connected with wounds that are necessarily as an experience for us to go through the darkness and learn that light and darkness are absolutely connected. They are part of the same process also in our daily life when we are breathing and we are inhaling, absorbing the reality so that it becomes inside ourselves and dark, and we are exhaling with our air from our nose, and we are manifesting and creating the reality so it becomes light. And also when we're going to sleep, darkness is the time of sleeping, of the dreams, so they are deeply connected. And so the process of the child when it's coming out of the womb is coming out from a place of darkness into the light. And so again, this connection with with that element of being used to already travel from another realm, and realizing this passage is needed because it's a symbol of all the initiations that we need to go through in our life, that normally are many, that can be a variety of. So specifically the theme of initiation is something that is very shamanic. So in shamanism we learn lessons through initiations, and normally they are not the easiest ones. They are ways that can be according to the tradition. For example, the Toltec tradition is quite based on experience, and quite a hard way of learning lessons through happenings, through a hard way, but simply to let us understand that we can go through them, that we can pass everything, that there is no obstacle that we cannot overcome. And that is also a beautiful way for us to learn self-confidence, to learn that we don't have to quit, we don't have to give up at the first opportunity, or sometimes when things don't work. We need to try, I wouldn't say 100%, but 1,000 per 1,000, till we understand that maybe it's not the right moment, or there are not the right conditions. But sometimes it's not necessarily a way of changing the perspective. Sometimes the same thing doesn't work because we need to change the point of view. We need to look things upside down and be creative with that, and simply find a way to go through like water. So find a way to merge with our wishes in an easy way. But many times we just stop when we think, okay, this is not working, so it's not meant to be. No, not necessarily it's not meant to be. It means it's not meant to be in that way, or maybe right now, but then it doesn't mean necessarily that it's not meant to be. It means that the universe is asking you to use other skills, other way of thinking, or maybe simply to adjust something, or to wait a little bit. But if something has been generated from your heart, and from your soul, and from your belly, and you truly feel that is about to happen, that it's for the benefit of other people, it sometimes only requires you to have a deep thought, follow your heart and your intuition. If you still think and feel that's the right thing to do, ask the universe to send a solution. How? Asking the universe to send synchronicities, to send omens, to guide you in that direction, and simply changing the way, but not deciding to give up or to quit at all.